Hello, this is the Lighthouse Hall of Fame film from the European server. Sand River Assault Offense. It's Sebastian Potachka in his VK 1602 using the 3 cm autocannon. One artillery apiece and one scout apiece. His team is top heavy with heavies and TDs, while the enemy team's heavies, TDs, and a couple mediums thrown in. Fairly even teams. There's like one or two tanks different, but overall, pretty even matchup in regards to tank composition. This is a hit or miss map ever since they changed it on offense. Sometimes you pull up to the middle and are unopposed and get to play old style. Other times you come up there's people in the middle and you got to figure out a way to knock them out of there so you can go on the attack. It's always worth a look-see in the beginning, if nothing else, than to spot the enemy and gain some intel into where they're going. He likes coming up here into this bush. It works really good as long as nobody's coming up the middle ramp. As long as there's any arty in the game, you got to worry about somebody trying to zone in on you. But with only one arty, the threat's not as big as if there's 3 or 4. Usually if there's 3 or 4, it's almost guaranteed that when you drop back here by that rock to try to get concealment back, at least one of the arties is going to be trying to take pot shots at you. So he stays on the move. There's a Hellcat farther down there, T-3485, and there's a heavy fairly nearby in support. There's a lot of tanks down in the ditch. And Sebastian decides his best bet is to move back up here on top of the hill, kind of reset and start the attack over. Going to come in here on the T-3485. Unless these guys in the ditch get some backup, some support, they're just sitting ducks eventually. People just peer over and pop them until they die. The heavies on the other side of the ditch is the answer to that at the moment. They have a 3-tank lead. Unfortunately for the defenders, the people down in the ditch never started popping up the ramp and doing peek views, or the outcome of this battle might have been different. They just stayed down there and kind of let the offensive team bring the fight to them instead of being aggressive. Well, that would have been interesting. The Chaffee slowed down just at the last second, put on his brakes, and didn't initiate a ram, which would have gone in the 1602's favor. And now he's about to die. So you can see where both heavies are. probably glad to note there's nobody between him and where he's intending to go there. There's a medium back to his left, going up to take on the Hummel. It was like, hey, defender, go into our back lines as far as you want to go. Get far away from cap, so if we decide to cap, you won't be able to get back in time. And he's going to say, yeah, but I'm going for the arty. It's like, that's fine, but once you go for the arty, then what do you do? Because if you keep going farther back, then you're setting yourself up to lose. Not in a scout, but in the slower tanks such as that. You get too far away from base, you can't get back once people cap. He's spotted by the heavy, so he has to break off his attempt to snipe down into the city. Reposition, get concealment, and then come in and make a closer attack, probably knowing him. And he gets the kill. 3 tanks to go. 2 tanks to go. He knows the heavy's off to the left. Where? Oh, there's the TD, just waiting on him. Gotta be careful. Takes him out. If that was anything but a Su-85B, it wouldn't have been that easy. So the 150's kind of waiting for him to pop out here. Moves up closer, shoots, and gets the kill to finish up the game. Sebastianpotachka garners 2,292 damage and 5 kills, 86 of 105 shooting, 78%, and 1,014 assisted damage with 8 spots. He earned 48,131 credits. And he earned 2,120 XP. Survived the fight, got a high caliber, demolitionist, fighter, spotter, duelist, fire for effect, bruiser, quite a collection of mini medals there. And he ends up with a battle score of 2,180, which puts him into 5th place on the 1602 list. He ran up to the middle to spot, old style Sand River assault offense, and for a while nobody came up the center, and he was allowed to spot up there and shoot. They had tanks down in the ditch, but they didn't really come up and try to knock him off of there in the beginning, and it let his team get an early lead. The time came where he was probably watching the map, realized there's not a lot of tanks left, I can move down here and go around, and then he just pursued that as he goes around and gets a couple kills, racks up a lot of damage, gets a little spotting damage as he goes, and it ends up being a 5 tank lead at the win. There are probably not anywhere near as many battles as there used to be. I know that there's nowhere near as many battles as there used to be, to where you can sit up on the middle ridge now and snipe and spot, because people come up the ramp and force you off there. But at the beginning of the battle, you should still come down here. He likes to just set up in the bush or watch. The alternative would be to make a half-court spotting run like this and go back around. Either way, that should be your goal when you start off, because there's still some battles where the enemy doesn't contest the middle. So you go out, you try to get your spots, whether you want to set up passive right away or make a half-court spotting run first. Go do that, and then if people come up the middle ramp, you adjust what you're going to do. But always assume in the beginning, hey, they're going to let me do this. And if you encounter resistance along the way, it's very easy just to take a hard left, go down the little hill down in here and get out of line of fire, and then decide what to do from there. Give yourself a chance to get the spots for your team, and don't just think, well, they're going to push the middle ramp so I can't go there. You really can. Always on the initial pass you can go there, and then a lot of times you can still go back and do more damage from up there. If somebody's in the middle ramp, then you back off, wait until they die, and then you get to go back up and start spotting again. Some people seem to think nowadays that you can't go up here and do this because of how the meta's changed for this map, but it's not true. Give yourself the opportunity to try it, and if you don't encounter resistance, then you're good to go for the rest of the fight. If you do, well, back off, kill them, move back up, and take it to them. From Sand River Assault Offense, and I might point out that even though it doesn't create as many Hall of Fame films as Sand River Assault Defense, it's like in 5th or 6th place for greatest number of Hall of Fame film entries from a specific map and spawn. So it's not as strong as it used to be, but Sand River Assault Offense is still very much a good map for scouts. Happy hunting.